Your words have no meaning, 'cause you continue to do the same thing. Now sorry is a sorry word. Look at all I've done for you.
Then the person, that job would be open for somebody who couldn't get a government job to go down to marketplace and put in that time to do that. But you have people working 2 and 3 jobs to make ends meet, right? These are the people that were asked to take a furlough day and a pay cut, right? Yeah. So someone else is sharing all the profit and they're carrying all the load. And I'm saying that there's something wrong with that equation.
For many, it's entirely wrong, because what we have in Bermuda is that many people try to run from it, but the reality is that we have a minimum of at least 2 different Bermudas based on race. It starts to even diverge from there, where we're getting 3 and 4 Bermudas based not purely on race, but economic class, because you have many black Bermudians who are now economically successful. So, are they poor? No. Then you have many whites who are just making ends meet. So, often people, although we have a situation where we're divided initially by race, it's transitioning, or morphing, I should say, into divided by class as well. So, there are those persons who are in the quote-unquote black community who their message wouldn't resonate with, because they are now part of the elite. And there are those in the white community who your message resonates to, because they are part of the working six. So I think at times, a lot of times, although we do need to address the race issue, a lot of times issues get muddied in the water, based solely on race, when it's based on, hey, that white guy over there is about to lose his house too. Or that black guy over there has got money for the next 5 generations.
Often we mischaracterize the issue of race by reducing it to individual personal interactions. Bermudians have always got along with people of different ethnic backgrounds growing up. Now, there are some whites that were part of an elite white oligarchy that didn't want, but even their children would sneak down the road and play with the little black kids down on North Shore and stuff like that, right? So the issue is an individual. So when people talk about race, they say, oh, well, you don't like me, you don't love, has nothing to do with that. Cornel West coins a phrase where he says, there are circumstances under which certain white people are niggified.
Niggified.
Right? That means that poor white people are niggified to the extent that a system which uses race to disempower certain groups of people makes them honorary members of that group of people. In other words, they get treated similar. Yeah. Now, the problem is that on an individual basis, sometimes whites, out of their inability to understand systems of power, blame the black person for their condition instead of understanding that it's systemic and structural. Now, if white people can be niggified, then some black people can be whiteified. So then when black folk get whiteified, then it means that they automatically become kind of honorary members of the oligarchy. In other words, they may be bag carriers for the 40 thieves. So they become this new class of people. So they now buy into that ideology, and they begin to look at their own community the same way that the system used to look at all of us, right? And the real issue is systemic. And what we've got to begin to understand is how race permeates a system in terms of disempowering certain groups of people and keeping certain groups of people in certain places. And when we begin to understand that the problem is systemic, we've got to then have the difficult conversation of how do we change systems of power.
And ideally, what would you see as the, I wouldn't wouldn't say ideal, but a better system than what we have now.
Again, I think you cannot talk about justice and equality without talking about how wealth is distributed. So one analogy that I use is if we have a cake that has 10 pieces, we cut it into 10 pieces. If I take 8 pieces and then I have 8 people have to share 2 pieces, it really doesn't matter how they divide those 2 pieces. We shouldn't be surprised to learn that 8 people sharing 2 pieces is not enough, right? In a similar way, if we go into any nursery school on this island and I have 10 blocks and one kid takes 8 blocks and all the other kids have to figure out how they're going to share 2 blocks, a good nursery school teacher is going to go over to that kid and say, you know what, little Jimmy or little Joey or whatever the kid's name is, little Mary, you have to share some of these 8 blocks with these other people because they don't have enough to go around. Yeah. Right? That's a basic principle. Right? So a system can be improved by understanding